What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the Soul Anarchist.
The Soul Anarchist podcast.
A show about living life on your own terms.
On your own terms.
Here is your host,
With my boy,
Paul Duane.
Brothers, sisters, and everyone in between, welcome to the show. All right, let's bring you up to speed on what we're doing on today's episode. We're doing an Ask Me Anything episode, and here's why. So a couple weeks ago, I was on a work trip. We went down to Fort Lauderdale to be part of a TV show that's being filmed down there. The company I work for was a sponsor, and so my colleague and I went down there, and as I was deciding on what to wear and how to travel down there, I decided to travel in style. And I decided to wear my new gray pinstripe short suit with some of my signature nylons and heels because, hey, why not? Life is short, have some fun with it. So I did. I didn't think anything of it. We go down there, the flights are great, the trip goes great, everything's awesome, good times. I come home, and a couple of days ago, I get tagged on Facebook from somebody saying, hey, I know this guy. And I go look a little closer, and somebody has filmed me in the Fort Lauderdale airport at the baggage claim. They made a little 15-second video of me standing there at baggage claim in my short suit, nylons and heels, just like pretty routine stuff for me, right? But they made this video, and they posted it on TikTok. And from there, it just went nuts. It got over 1 million views on TikTok. And then the guy who posted it there, his name was Deepak Kumar. No idea who this guy is. And then a girl on on Twitter named Gretchen Smith picked it up and reposted it. And then it went completely nuts. At the time of this taping, the video has over 7 million views. I've picked up 11,000 new followers on Instagram and not Instagram, I'm sorry. On Twitter. Twitter is what I mean. I never use Twitter. Twitter is just kind of a foreign land to me. I'm so much of an Instagram guy, so I keep switching that up. But yeah, God, I can't even talk right now. 11,000 new followers on Twitter in 48 hours. It's been completely insane. And it's because this Gretchen girl posted it. And now Gretchen is this self-styled talking head. She does this her shtick is she's this super patriot veteran. I'm not sure what branch she served in, no idea. But she's just a super far right type of personality that panders to the worst of the Trump supporters. And so she posted this video of me saying, what is this? Can anyone tell me what this is? Which, to be fair, was not derogatory to begin with at all. But from there, it just blew up. Since then, the Daily Mail website has picked it up and did a big story on it. And it's just gone crazy. The past couple of days, I've just been fielding questions and trying to keep up with this new Twitter audience that I was just gifted by Gretchen. So thank you, Gretchen. I appreciate that. I've always wanted to have a bigger Twitter following, and now I have one. So thanks. All right, that being said, there have been a ton of questions that have come up. So we're doing a Q&A today. I've got a bunch of questions from new followers and old followers on Instagram and Twitter. So we're just going to get right into it. Before I get into that, let's give love to two of our sponsors. Number one, Audible. You've probably heard of Audible before. Audible is the world's best source for audiobooks. I love audiobooks because I'm super ADD and I have a difficult time making it through a whole book sometimes. But I can listen to books like crazy, especially when I'm doing things like photo editing or driving, riding my motorcycle, working with my hands. I love spoken word type content when I'm doing things like that. And I love Audible. I've listened to so many books over the years. And you can get a free book for yourself by going to paulduane.net/audible. That's PAULDUANE.net/AUDIBLE, paulduane.net/audible. And get yourself a free month of service and a free audiobook of your choosing. So check that out. It's really cool. Share it with a friend too. If you have any friends that want to try it out, they're welcome to use that link as well. paulduane.net/audible. And Five Wives Vodka. Five Wives Vodka is made with mountain spring water from the Ogden Canyon, and it is delicious. That spring water they use brings a special mineral quality to the vodka that contributes to its unique qualities, its unique flavor, its unique mouthfeel. You can get a bottle of that by going to hightimewine.net. That's HITIMEWINE.net, hightimewine.net. Or for those of you who happen to live in Utah where this podcast and the vodka is made, you can just go to the state liquor store and pick up a bottle of Five Wives tonight. And as of the taping of this, New Year's Eve is coming up in a couple nights, so be sure that you have some Five Wives on hand to make some delicious cocktails for your friends. They'll be super impressed. So anyway, speaking of local, I'm drinking a local beer from Rooster's Brewing Company. We have great beer here in Utah. Not a lot of people know that, but I guess that's one of the things about an oppressive culture. It fosters some delightful vice culture as well. All right. Is there anything else we need to talk about? No, not right now. Let's just get into it. Let's get into your questions and let's do some answers. This should be fun. All right. Let's go jump in. I will try to call you all out by name or your handle, your Twitter handle or your Instagram handle. So if I botch it, just bear with me. All right, first of all, we've got Sleepy Sharina asks, what are the most comfortable dress shoes? And I lumped this in with another question from that BK girl, your go-to shoe designer. Finding shoes for me is difficult. I have rather large feet for women's sizes anyway. 13 in women's, yeah. Just a 10 and a half in boy shoes, but the sizes don't translate over. So it's kind of tough to find a shoe that fits well and is the right style. I'm super picky about the style of shoe. But I like Nine West a lot. They make some good stuff. There are a couple of other brands that kick around over at Nordstrom Rack that work out pretty well. But I have not yet found my holy grail of shoes. Like the Nine West stuff is the closest to it. But I'm still on a quest for the ultimate shoe. I'm kind of picky about what I'm looking for. I have some very specific qualities in mind. So yeah, if I find it, when I find it, I'll let you know. I probably won't stop talking about it. All right, next question. We've got another shoe question from the Christina J. Do you switch it up and wear wedges? No, I don't do that. I'm kind of like Steve Jobs in his black turtleneck. You know, I have the one thing I do. I'm a really basic guy in a lot of ways. My closet is just full of black t-shirts and jeans and black motorcycle boots and a couple of short suits and a couple of basic pairs of heels. That's kind of my thing. I don't like the wedge thing. I don't know, it just looks funny for me. I think you should wear them, but I don't like it. I don't know. Yeah. It's too sensible. All right. Next question. We've got, I hope I get this right. Beaterast. Okay. Well, again, another question. Favorite shoes. I already answered that. So many shoe questions today. So, all right. Do your feet ever get sore or bad back? Yeah, sure. Sometimes they do. It depends on the shoes. The ones I usually wear are ones that I can stand around in like most of the day and feel just great though. You know, I end up, whatever you see me in is usually something like that. I find something that just fits right, feels good. I can just really rock it all day long. So yeah, it's not too bad. Asking as a woman who could never wear heels. And what about stockings? Mine used to get holes all the time, and the old advice, put nail polish on them, never seemed to work. Any advice? Yeah, so the thing about hosiery, there's no such thing as bulletproof hosiery, but there definitely are grades of it. Some are better than others. The stuff I wear is from my favorite stuff. I have two manufacturers I absolutely love. One is Cecilia de Rafael out of Spain, and I've been wearing their stuff for a really long time. It's moderately priced. The quality is really high. And I get a lot of wearings out of them, and they look and they feel amazing. I just really, really love them. Like the pair that I wear all the time that you usually see me in, they go for like $15, $18 a pair, which, if you're gonna go to any of the department stores like Nordstrom or anything like that, you're gonna drop that much on like really average, kind of shitty quality stuff. So you might as well just buy the good stuff from Europe. I will put a link in the show notes to where you can buy that stuff if you're interested in it. My other favorite brand is a German brand, and they're called Falk. And I would describe them as like the Audi of hosiery. The manufacturing is impeccable. The materials they use are impeccable. I mean, the attention to detail on these things is just, it's really clear. And they last a long time. They fit incredibly well. They look just absolutely gorgeous. And they feel amazing. I mean, I just can't say enough good about them. They're really expensive. You're gonna be spending $40 a pair on those. So that's kind of a, like, when you want to splurge or a special occasion, or if you just happen to be able to budget that kind of money for your hosiery. Yeah, Falk, really, really great stuff. Falk from Germany and Cecilia de Rafael out of Spain, my two favorites. And you have to be careful when you're putting them on, ladies. Like, none of this fingernail stuff, you can't be pinching at them, and trying to pull them up with pinched fingers. You're gonna run them all the time like that. So there are some ways you can put them on that are gonna make, save you runs. So you should learn more about that. Anyway, okay. Oh, geez, I just totally lost my page. All right, moving on. How do you feel about that? Having like a guy give you advice on how to put on your nylons? Isn't that kind of weird? Seems kind of weird. But when you think about it, like how many hair designers and fashion designers and makeup artists are guys too? I don't know what the story is there. I don't know why it's like that, but here we are. Okay, moving on. Next question. Just subscribed. How are you walking with your lady? If you've got sweeter gams, fella, barrier to intimacy or righteous truth? And that's from Janet Crosscheck on Twitter. That's a great question. The ladies I date tend to have incredible legs themselves. It's not ever a contest. They always have far more beautiful legs than I. Always. I much prefer theirs. Getting lost in thought about that. Anyway, yeah, it's not really an issue. But I will tell you, in when I am in the dating process, though, I often hear women say things like, "Oh my gosh, I think you have better legs than me," blah, 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 blah. But the girl for me is the one who says, "You've got really nice legs, but mine are way better." Hell yeah. That is what we're talking about. All right. Moving on. Let's see. We've got Deanna Garrettson on Twitter. All right. What's one thing I can do for my boys to be as confident as you are? Okay. It's actually a really serious question. I think the key to this, I've been thinking about this all day, is to raise your boys kind of two things. At core, your boys need to have permission to be emotional beings. Like, they need to be taught to have a healthy relationship with all of their emotions, including and especially their dark side. And you're not gonna like this, some of you, but this is the truth. They need a good man in their life to teach them this stuff. Like, women can teach and do teach men so many things, but a woman has never been a grown man before, and she cannot teach a boy how to be a grown man. She can do a lot of things, but there's just some finish work there that has to be done by another healthy male in his life, okay? That's just the truth. So just in the same way that, like, I can't teach my daughters everything they need to know about how to be fully developed, healthy women. Like, there's just so many things about being a woman I don't know and I never can know, you know? It has to come from a female mentor. It just does. Same way. So, but at core, you know, what you're getting at here, what you're asking about is this confidence thing. Yeah, confidence, I think, at core comes from being in healthy relationship to one's emotions and especially one's dark side. So, yeah, you got those boys, they got to be taught to reconcile that stuff. And it's best done by example. Again, a healthy male role model will go so far on this one. So yeah, that question is an awesome question. It's super relevant to what's happening in our society in a lot of places. We could talk about that all night long. We should get into that another time. You may want to check out my interviews with Dr. Robert Glover. I've done 2 of them. He's the author of a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy. And he has so much to say about healthy masculinity and raising boys into being good men. So check those out. I think you may find those really interesting. All right, moving on. Xavier Paris 75. Do you shave your legs? Yes. There's, you know, if you're gonna wear hosiery, I have like 2 things to say about that. Half of the pleasure of wearing good hosiery is the tactile sensation. And if you have stubbly legs, it's just gonna be a really itchy experience. You're gonna hate it, okay? A lot of you women who say you hate wearing hosiery, I can't help but wonder if maybe you're not giving yourself a good shave first, because it is fucking annoying to wear tights if you're not freshly shaved. It's the worst. But if you are freshly shaved and you're wearing good quality stuff, they feel amazing. It's really nice. So yeah, definitely a shaver here. Okay, moving on. Mirko Grasso on Twitter. Biggest heel you've ever worn, platform counts 5 inches with a 1-inch platform. All right, next up, Jake Riley, I don't know, Jake Riley, I think that's what it is. Do you think you can get enough donations and poll numbers to qualify for the January debate? That's a really nice thought. No. Okay. Let's see, moving on. We've got another question from the same Twitter follower. How did you get over your fear, if you had any, to dress like this in public? How do you respond when people are hostile to you in person? Does that happen a lot? Okay. Where do we begin on this? Here's the thing about fear. The thing about bravery is that it's not that fear goes away, it's that you act in the face of it anyway. I had an experience a few years ago where I just realized how short life really is. And here's what it came down to, okay? This might get a little dark, so hold on for a second. I had an experience, kind of an epiphany, where I got thinking about what it would be like to die, all right? And I got thinking about the last 5 minutes of my life. And I got thinking about how I would look back over my life and I would think about all the things I did that were awesome, and that would be obviously a happy thing. And I think about all the things I tried but were a huge disaster, and I think I'd probably just laugh about those things because it doesn't matter anymore, right? And then I would think about the things I wanted to do, but I didn't because I was afraid of what people would think. And that would be an awfully bitter, sad moment. I don't want to have that moment, okay? And I realized that. And I just got thinking about the things I really would just like to do in my life, the ways I actually would like to show up, no matter how weird or quirky or eccentric or hard to understand any of it may be. I just realized that that's probably how it's gonna be what it's like, and I wanna die happy if I die, right? But I want that to be a happy time. So that's how I got over the fear of it. I just realized that none of these people's opinions matter at all. They don't matter now, and they certainly will matter less and less as time goes on. Are there times when I'm a little nervous walking out the door dressed up like this? Yeah, of course. There are times I'm like, oh shit, how's this gonna go over? Am I gonna run into any trouble? I'm fully aware of how provocative and out of the norm it is for me to dress like this. So I don't take any of that for granted, but I do it anyway, okay? Another thing about that though, you asked a question about getting negative reactions from people. I almost never do. The last time I got a negative reaction from somebody was maybe 2 years ago, honestly. In person anyway. This dude drove up. I was walking in downtown Salt Lake City one night, and this dude drove up in a great big truck, like this big jacked up truck that just screamed, I'm compensating for something, right? And he pulled up, he goes, hey man, nice heels, faggot, and drove off. Here's the thing about people like that. That dude either has a bunch of heels stashed away at home that he's hiding from his wife, or he wears hers around the house when she leaves for work, or he just really wants to. I know exactly what's going on with people like that. So it's whatever, I don't care. But here's the other thing. People are like dogs. They can smell fear. And especially people who are not in good relationship to their own fear are the ones you have to watch out for, because they will project onto you and do shitty things. So when I leave the house dressed up like this, I carry myself in a particular way. I put on confidence. I assume confidence. I walk tall. I kind of put all thoughts of anything like negative happening out of my head in a way. So you just have to really own it. And when you own it, here's another thing I've learned. That when I walk into a room, either literally or figuratively, knowing exactly who I am, knowing exactly what I'm doing there, I'm not looking to anybody else to be my leader. I am the leader. 99% of people either politely step out of my way or they follow me, okay? People are always looking for the leader in a situation. And so when you do something that's really out of the ordinary like this, you have to be the leader. Nobody is going to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. That's just it. It's all up to you. So that is how that's done. Okay, next question. Let's move on. Hell Salem 1 on Twitter. How did it start? Dare from friends, magnetic feeling. It's interesting to see a figure such as yourself be so open and comfortable with your choice of apparel. From what I've seen, you're also straight, which makes me even more curious. So how did it start? The first time I went out dressed up, technically the first time I went out dressed up was for a Halloween party. I was just kind of testing the water, which is really common. A lot of guys do that. But that doesn't really count. And then I went out there's a club here in Salt Lake City called Area 51 that has like these fetish night things where they have all these crazy themes and people dress up and whatnot. That doesn't even count. The first time I really, really went out in a way that counts was to a birthday party for my dear friend and cousin, Melissa, a couple of years ago. It was like a New Year's Eve night. And it was for her birthday, and she encouraged me. She's like, yeah, you should totally wear your nylons and heels out. And so I did, and met up with a bunch of her friends, some of whom I already knew, some I did not know. And it was just awesome. It was that confidence thing again. I walked in, and there's this one friend of hers, this really pretty girl. I won't name names, but I remember I walked in and we were at this really expensive restaurant in Salt Lake. And she looked me up and down and she goes, "You look like a lot of fun." And I just said, "I totally am." And then we just hit it off and we just had an amazing night the whole rest of the night. So that was my first real experience in like being out in the real world in tights and heels. So that's how that went. Okay, moving on. A totally different question from Pimmy Dwarf on Twitter. What do you like to eat for breakfast on a regular day? Coffee. I just like to have a mug of coffee. That's how I start my day. Maybe some fruit with it, but that's about it. All right, moving on. Cutthroat Carlos. Did you see or hear that individual record you? Referring to that video that was made in the Fort Lauderdale airport. No, I had no idea. No idea at all that any of this was happening. It's so weird. Has it happened before? If so, how do you deal with it? If somebody confronts or approaches you in a negative manner, ever get positive reactions? Again, like I never get negative reactions. Like I just don't. I get that a lot of people don't like it or they don't understand it, but they just avoid me. Like we just pass each other like ships in the night. We don't interact with each other. But I do get a lot of positive reactions. I get a lot of people come up and compliment me. A lot of people are really nice. That's just the world I've created. A lot of really nice people in it. So you can't be afraid. If you're afraid of it, if you think you're a freak, if you think you're weird, if you're insecure about yourself, don't go out the door dressed up like this, okay? You got to work out your own demons first. Because if you walk out the door all like weird and afraid, you're going to get picked on all day long. I promise, okay? And there are things you can do to like really iron this out in yourself. And this isn't just for people who want to like dress in different ways. This goes for any part of your life. This goes for anything that you might feel a little insecure about. So, yeah. I know we're talking a lot about like tights and heels, which on some level I think is pretty silly because they're just clothes, you know? But I get that they do represent something bigger for a lot of people. So let them just be a metaphor. Okay, moving on. We've got... I don't know how to say this. Njajaya. Do you put milk or cereal first? Neither. I don't really care for either of them. Okay, moving on. Steph Solis. When you're in public and draw attention that sometimes isn't positive attention, how do you respond? Again, it doesn't really happen. When it does, I don't care because I get where that's coming from. Like negative reactions are coming from somebody else's shadow, somebody else's insecurity, and I feel bad for them. You know, it sucks to be operating from that place. So I wish them the best. Let's see. If any response at all, let's see. I admire you for your bravery and authenticity. Okay. Thank you. Very kind words. Okay. Bronwyn LaBelle on Twitter. What's your greatest passion in life? Cooking, fishing, running, etc.? No, none of those. I love motorcycling. Motorcycling, absolutely. I mean, aside from my career, photography, that's what I do for a living. And I do love podcasting. I love all this stuff. This is more of like a labor of love. But the thing I love, like really passionately, the thing that like lights me up probably more than anything these days is motorcycling. I love motorcycles. I love being on two wheels. There's nothing like it. I won't go all the way into it right now, but motorcycling is it's not just fun, but it represents something a lot bigger in my life. So if you dig through some of my old podcasts, some of my old posts, you'll get a sense of that. So anyway, I've got a Yamaha V-Star 1100 that I just love so very much. And I cannot wait for warm weather to come back so I can get back out on the road more. So it's the best. It's the very best. It is the best thing in the whole world. Well, I mean, I can think of like 2 or 3 other things that might be like as good as motorcycling, but maybe one thing sometimes a little better. Anyway, I digress. All right, moving on. Mama02Dogs on Twitter. I currently know 2 men who do the same. Talking about dressing up, I guess, and nylons and heels. For me, it's more trying to understand the women in their lives, accepting it. Gonna admit, I find it weird, but have nothing against either one in my life. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you there. I hope they're doing well. Hope they're happy. So, here's another thing though. Like, it's not your job to understand it. It's just not. Sometimes I think we swap out the term understand for judge. Okay? Like, it's kind of like saying, I really need to understand why you like pineapple on your pizza. Why? Like, it just doesn't matter. It's actually none of your business. So yeah, don't worry about understanding it, just accept it. Or don't. If you can't accept it, then be the person who can't accept it and get on with your life and cut them out of your life. Or just accept it and just get on with it, you know? Okay, moving on. Pembroke 819, do the shoes hurt your feet? I mean, after a really long day, yeah, but whatever. All shoes hurt anyone's feet after a long day, but I'm surprisingly comfortable in them. I love the ones I have on right now. Love them so much. Okay. Crantina on Twitter. I'm a total clumsy ass klutz. How in the Sam hell do you work it and not fall over, tip, or break an ankle? Seriously, I can't walk in heels. P.S. I adore your legs. I don't know what to tell you there other than, I don't know, it just came naturally to me. The first time I put them on, I felt like I was getting on a bicycle after a long winter. I just knew how. I didn't have to learn how to do it. The only thing I can think of is that I was a very expensive stripper in a past life. That's all I got. Yeah, I didn't have a learning curve even. I just did it. I know that's not a very satisfying answer. Sorry. Okay, moving on. Now we've got some questions from Instagram. We've got Fire and Spice 41, Jennifer, one of my old friends. Why do guys just want friends with benefits and not a relationship? Because they don't want to commit. You know, commitment, it comes with all kinds of costs. And the real question is, are you up for that? Are you going to entertain that? There are women out there that want friends with benefits too, and not a relationship. So this is really more about you. Do you want that? Does that fit for you? Does it work for you? If so, why? Why would you be interested in entertaining something like that? If not, why not? What are your impediments to that? I'm not saying either way is right or wrong, but this question is really more about you. And why do you keep attracting guys into your life that only want friends with benefits? Why don't you attract guys into your life who are looking for something more substantial if that's what you're looking for? I think the question really becomes, are you attracting people into your life that have the same goals you have? Are you attracting people into your life that want the same things you want? You know? And if not, why not? If not, then that deserves some serious examination. You're probably out of alignment with yourself in some places. You're probably acting out of fear in some places that you don't realize in your life. That's usually what causes people to attract things that are not what they, quote unquote, what they want. So there you go. All right. We've got Lisa Ecod 14, something like that. Okay. Can you believe that people are still so closed-minded? Yes. I can. Wouldn't you hope that as a society, we wouldn't judge on appearances alone? Yeah, sure. I don't have a lot of expectations around that, though. I mean, we are visual creatures. We're visual creatures, and our brains have evolved for millions of years to be pattern-making devices, to seek out patterns in the world. And that's all about judging on appearances, first impressions. It's deep, deep in our DNA. So I have no expectation that that's ever going to change as our first reaction to things. But as people grow and mature, I think they gain the ability to work past that and to think past their first instinct and to look deeper. So yeah, of course I hope that for people, but everybody's just got to get there on their own time frame. So, all right, moving on. What was the reaction of your wife when you said, "Darling, I wear pantyhose, skirts, and heels"? Well, first of all, I don't have a wife. Second of all, I don't wear skirts. They're shorts. It's a meaningful difference too. It changes the way you sit. It changes the way you move. You can't, I don't know. I've tried the skirt thing. I don't like them. It just doesn't, I don't know, just doesn't vibe with me. Not my thing. But I think what you're really getting at here is, how do the women in my life react to this part of my life? I will tell you this. Again, I kind of referenced this earlier. I've created this world where the people in my world are really positive about it. Look, I'm well aware that there are women out there that just don't like a guy in nylons and heels. That's fine. I don't care. I might not like their hair color, or I might not like how tall they are. I don't know, whatever. We all have our preferences, and we're all totally entitled to them. I just don't even care that some people don't like this. It doesn't surprise me, and I'm fine with it. But the people who show up in my world are people who are either accepting or really into it, one of the two. So yeah, in my dating life, I've had a lot of really, really great women in my life who have really liked this part of me. So yeah, and I don't ever break the news to them. I'm so out in the open about this. Everybody knows this about me before they meet me. There's never a conversation to be had about it. So yeah, that's how that goes. It just, doesn't go. All right, moving on. Amelia AD 231. I feel a new trend coming on. Bravo. I appreciate your support and your enthusiasm. I have no interest at all in this becoming a trend. I would never want lots of people to do this. Personally, I appreciate the differences between men and women. I appreciate polarity. I am by no means some gender warrior trying to abolish the differences between the masculine and the feminine. I'm not. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm masculine and some feminine characteristics. I'm not blending them. I'm oil and water, and I always want to be. I always want to be oil and water. I never want that to be blended. And I would hope the rest of the world can be that way too. I don't think that in our society right now, I think that the concept of opposites is really getting shit on quite a bit and not fully appreciated. That's a whole other topic. But yeah, for now, it's enough to say I love what makes men and women different. And I hope that we always have those differences clearly pronounced in our society. Yeah. That's what I'll say about that. There were a whole bunch of non-questions, just a bunch of really nice comments from a bunch of you. I'm not going to read through them all because they're, for the most part, just really, really nice, except for Mike. You said, Mike M. Jopnik on Twitter said, "You look like an ass." Oh, dude, thanks for taking the time to let me know. All right. But everybody else was just super, super nice. Just all kinds of nice stuff. You all know who you are. I'll try to tag you in this. But just so many nice comments. I've got to say, when this whole thing blew up on Twitter, I was a little apprehensive because Twitter has such a reputation for just being a dumpster fire of negativity. And, while there have been a few jerks in the comments, as this thing has rocketed up to 7 million views. For the most part, people have been so nice, like so kind and so wonderful, and for the most part, like really funny too. I've been completely shocked, okay? So you know who you are. Thank you. You guys are fucking beautiful humans, so I'm really honored to have you in my orbit. All right. Well, that's it for now. So let's get things wrapped up. Those of you who are interested in what goes on in the Soul Anarchist world and want to have access to more of it, I have a place called the Soul Anarchist Society where I put up stuff that's just for members. It's just more exclusive content, and it's paid. You know, you pay $5 a month, $10 a month, something like that, and your support there, of course, supports what I do here, makes it possible for me to do bigger and better things with the show. And I appreciate that so much. So if you would like to be one of those people who supports the show and gets cool bonus content for members only, you can go to soulanarchist.com and just check out the link there. It's pretty obvious where you go to become a member of the Soul Anarchist Society. And one of the perks is that I give you a shout out on the show each week. So let's do that right now. Let's give so much love to Rachel Robbins, Grant Robbins, Ben Richardson, Daniel Dumbrell, Jake Garn, Rachel Blackhurst, Cody Hansen, Nix, Jake Cope. Thank you guys for being supporters of the show. You're amazing. I love you all so very much. All right. And the other thing, those of you who are new here, which I think is a lot of you, every Sunday night I do something called the Sunday Night Burn. It's in the spirit of a fireside chat. It's a thing I do on my Facebook profile for the show at facebook.com/soulanarchist. Really easy to find. Just go look up Soul Anarchist on Facebook. And every Sunday night at 21:12 military time, that's 9:12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I go live and I talk for 5, 10, 15 minutes about some aspect of the Soul Anarchist life. So yeah, if you want to be part of that, just come join. I'd love to have you there. And you can comment. I'll talk to you guys there, answer questions. It's a good time. And part of the tradition, by the way, if you want to fully participate, when you go live with us for the Sunday Night Burn, have a delicious drink in your hand and have something ready to burn yourself, like a candle or some incense or some other combustible material of your choice. So it's fun. It's good times. All right. Well, let's get this wrapped up. Also, let's give some love to our editor, Nate Urey. In closing, just remember that when you live authentically, when you show up in the world doing your best to live in harmony with who you know you are, you do this thing. You put out this energetic vibe where people see that in you and they're inspired by you. They're inspired by your example. And you living with no fear, you transcending your fear, you being in good relationship to your fear, you living true to yourself gives other people permission to do the same thing. And it's a beautiful thing. So each of us doing this work of soul anarchy, of living freely, living on our own terms, living unapologetically, we make the world a better place when we do this. And most of the time, it's a silent but powerful process. So to those of you who are doing that, cheers. Thank you. I love you very much. It's an honor to have you in my orbit and to be in yours. And I think we're done with this show. So, brothers and sisters, everyone in between, until next time.